Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wrong Ones Podcast. I'm Dinesh Sagi, joined by Punk and Amar. Jens, how are we doing?
Yeah, good man.
Hello. How have you guys been?
Well, let's start with wishing our very own Punk here, who just celebrated his 21st birthday. So happy birthday, Punk.
Wasn't it 22nd?
Oh, was it 22nd? I always get
Yeah.
mixed up. Every time I
With
see him, he's going
22nd with 18 years of experience.
ooh,
I'm 18 with 22 years of experience.
Yeah.
Either way. So,
good to
Anyways,
know. And
happy birthday. Wish you a very happy birthday. I
yeah,
hope
yep.
you had a good time.
Yeah, that's great.
absolutely. Yeah, it would have been nice if I received an invite as well, but nevertheless, I'd
Yeah,
appreciate
you have to.
the,
Yeah, there
the,
was an
the
air
face.
ban. There was a no air fly zone.
No fly zone. Fair enough. Obviously, yes.
If you
But yeah,
know, you know.
it's all about
All right.
the tick
Yep.
mark.
Let's go
But
for it.
yes, bringing things back to cricket for our viewers and everybody else out there. Hope you're all doing well. I know we've been away for a bit for various reasons. Maybe blaming Punk for celebrating his birthday way too long, and also for Amar ending up in this weird destination where apparently power outage happens, which I've never heard of previously, but that's the excuse at least Amma used to not join some of the podcasts. But yeah, we'll let him off this time.
Yeah, I mean, the entire country was under this blackout, so not my fault.
Yep, I believe
Absolutely.
that. We believe that. But yes, during this time, a lot of things happened. Maybe a couple of highlights I'm going to call out. Young Vaibhav Suryavanshi, the 14-year-old, scored his first century in IPL, the youngest ever to score a century
Is he
in
14?
any T20 league, is what I've heard. And apparently, is the second fastest to get to a T20 100 in IPL, just behind Boss, the universe boss, as they call him, Chris Gale. So, since obviously, Vaibhav scored the century, now he's called the Boss Baby. That's his new tagline. So, congratulations to him. Obviously, since
Left-handed as well, so makes sense.
yep, a lot of
Not a
sense.
bad,
And
not a bad name.
yeah, on the flip side, obviously, cricket has shown the cruel side of the sport to Suryavanshi, where he had a couple of duds. The second game that he played since he scored his 100, he was out on not for on the second delivery. So that's probably a reality check, but hope things sort of improve for him. And then another stat I want to call out is Mumbai. After losing three games at the start of the league, they've sort of found a way. They won six on the trot, just behind RCB, where they managed to win six on the trot last season to make it to the playoffs. Am I aiming to make it seven? And their game today is against GT. Hopefully, they sort of win and obviously make it 7 out of 7. Also, the biggest stake is the playoffs here. So MI and GT both has an opportunity to sort of finish in the top two, depending on who comes out on top. So there's a lot at stake here, and the game's happening in Mumbai, which is MI's home.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about MI is fortune favors the brave.
I'm sure we all agree.
And they
Anyway,
have been very brave.
very brave, absolutely. Let's get cracking in terms of the game. Obviously, like I said, MI 6 games on the trot, a lot's riding on them in terms of making to the playoffs. So far, we know RCB has done well, and obviously, GT are right up there. There's a couple of spots still sort of open for grabs with Punjab, obviously, having a couple of close games. But yeah, sort of focusing on MI quickly, right? In terms of their middle order, Sky has been in tremendous form. So is Tilak Verma and obviously Hardik Pandya. But personally, for me, I think the top order, even though Rohit had a couple of really good games, I think today's game was a dud again. We seem to have struggled against the GT paces. Punk.
Yeah, like see, one of the best pace attack currently like in this tournament is GT's got that right with Siraj really doing well, and then Prasid, and then they also have Arshad Khan as well, right? So like, and with Ishan Sharma, so they're doing well, right? And you see like Rohit, like he gives you chances up front. It's just that like if you get those chances and get him out, right, then so see, Rohit again, I have a feeling like his fitness is a concern, which people like he'll give you some runs here and there, but that fitness, which if you see with the one you have with Kohli and all that, right, it just gives you that extra few, you know, seconds, right, in terms of your batting. You get that breath. You can take some singles and you can still get into the game, right? You can sing like with Rohit. He's just they're just trying to go from ball one, right? And that's like you know again, if your luck is there, you get those runs. If not, even the innings which where he scored like some innings back with I think so it was with CSK where he scored really well, right? He got the first 70. If you see, there were a lot of chances which CSK dropped. So CSK all you like you can imagine the team was struggling in terms of they were really down, and even in those it was not like a a very good like what do you call it, like the innings which which Rohit is like clean hitting and all that, right? Uh, and the other thing was the runs was not that there's 170 odd runs on that Mumbai pitch. It was a flat track basically, and the dew was there, right? Even there he struggled initially, if you remember. There was a catch which was dropped and a few things here and there. Again, Rohit has to like if he's not performing, then Mumbai more often, right? They are struggling because if both the openers are going out early, right? It gives a lot of pressure on the middle order. So, like for example, Surya Kumar is the only guy who's actually in form, right? With Tilak here and there, contributing. Um, so Rohit has to take like a little bit that additional responsibility of trying to stay a little longer, right? Because he has the game and he's shown that into the last few games where he's got 50 plus, right? If you see, he slowed down and then he accelerated as well. So he has that in him, right? He doesn't have to go bang bang in the first few over itself, right? Let Rickleton, Will Jacks do that, and he can continue at one end, because most of the teams, if you see, most of the teams where both the openers are going bang bang, right, they're struggling because a lot of wickets are falling in the power play, and they're not able to capitalize that the score rates. Like in this game, definitely it was not a 155 pitch. It was at least definitely a 180 plus because it was gripping a bit here and there, but it was not a 155. And that 15, 20, 30 runs, right, is where your top order, if they go out early, the team is going to struggle. See, and most of the games, if you see, even Rohit, right, if he was going out, right, he was hitting those 20, 25 runs in 8, 10 balls. Yeah. But if you're taking like 8, 10 balls, and if you're not able to like even, escalate that, give that 200 strike rate, then it gives pressure on the next guys coming in. They have to accelerate and maximize the power play. So as an opener, either you stay a bit longer and try to, let the other guys, like power hitters, rotate around and play accordingly. So Rohit has to play a much more, stronger role, and they have a lot of power hitters around Rohit. If you see Tilak, Surya, Rickleton, Will Jacks, they're all power hitters. So more often, if Rohit stays in the crease, right, and let the other players do the power hitting, you will see Mumbai winning more, games. And with Bumrah and other guys, they can bring any game back to from, So yeah, Rohit has to take like a little bit of additional responsibility if they need to get into the top two. They will qualify, but it's the top two which they need to go through.
Absolutely right. And also, one of the pieces I want to call out, and something we've seen throughout this year's IPL, is the amount of drop catches, Amar. And obviously, GT dropped 3 catches, which actually helped someone like Will Jacks, score the 50 and help MI scores of posting the 150. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with fielding this particular season and the amount of drops that we've seen, especially yesterday's game, like 3 in the first 6 overs, which is unheard of.
Yeah, very surprising. And um, you know, Mumbai got to 155, and they were very lucky in getting there. It could have well been 120 by the amount of catches it was dropped. And also, if you look down the order of Mumbai, Navandir and Hardik Pandya, they haven't been making many runs. They get a start, and then more often than not, they don't kind of get to 50s or 60s. Maybe one match, or one match each, they have made those kind of runs. So early on, if the wickets fall, um, and and catches were also dropped, they were really lucky to get to 155. um, Rohit Sharma, as Punk mentioned, a couple of games he got those runs. Ryan Rickelton as well. Start of the tournament, he was not getting runs. Then later on, he started getting. Surya Kumar Yadav has been in good form, but yeah, despite of getting those, dropping those catches, they still managed to get to 150. Ideally, they should have gone to 180. Um, so it this game was very strange. I mean, and the pendulum was kind of swinging from one to the other. So uh, drop catches, we thought, okay, how they won't even reach 100, and then all of a sudden you get a partnership with Surya Kumar Yadav and Will Jacks, and then it looked like they might go to 180. But then after that, Hardik Pandya, Namandir, they fell quickly. And then again, Bosch made some runs. So it was kind of the pendulum was swinging, from one end to the other. So very strange innings in a way. Um, so even though the bowlers were bowling really well, the fielding let them down.
Absolutely right, and obviously, GT sort of dependent on the fast bowlers who are like the leaders on the purple cap, but also they're batting equally. Like the top three, each of them scored 500 runs. So at one point, the expectation was to walk in a park for GT, but unfortunately, Sai Sudarshan went early. There's a small partnership that sort of developed between Butler and Gill that even hasn't lasted long. So there was a little bit of panic, if I might say that. Obviously, the weather's not helping, and then Mumbai's got the bowling to obviously restrict. So it wasn't clear until almost the first rain break, which way the game swinging, like you pointed out, Amar. But this sort of explains the amount of dependency that GT has on the top three. I mean, fortunately for them, they haven't really sort of failed until this game. But going into the playoffs, do you think that's a concern at all? Like the amount of dependency they have on the top three, and them scoring most of the
Yeah.
runs.
So I like definitely I can take that question, right? So I have feeling like GT are batting bit, because they're taking the top three, because they see the top three are in form. But Rashid is not your number seven. He is your number nine, maybe, right? In this game currently, he's not your number seven. So definitely they need to see how they can get Sundar in that, and Sundar bats at number seven. That will give the team a bit of strength, because if he's coming at number seven, then you will see more often some of these chases like this. They will struggle if they lose Sai or Gill, both of them. If they lose, then they will lose those matches. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. If they definitely need to, uh, get him into the game. Sudarshan needs to come, sorry, Sundar, right, needs to bat somewhere around, at number seven, or what they did was like put him at number four, and gave him the opportunity to score that 49 odd runs. And as of now, just to give you a bit of stats, right, in GT, the after apart from the top three, the highest score has been 49, and that has come from Sundar. You see, and this game actually exposed them. If it, you know this literally exposed them when they lost those wickets, and there was the middle order crisis coming through, right? So they definitely need to see somebody, and uh, Rashid coming at seven, it does not make sense at all. When you have an impact sub, that means Rashid should bat at eight. If it was like the normal 11, then Rashid at seven, it makes sense. But because if you have an impact sub and he's still batting at seven, that you can imagine your team is like literally going to struggle. If your top three is not performing right, and game, like, cricket is a very, is a game of luck as well, right? Your luck will run out, so you need to carry that one additional batter. Like, when the luck is run out, right, do you have that additional batter somewhere who can actually take this? And this game actually gave them, I hope they rectify the batting and make sure that they have that, seven batsmen at least to take for, if they want to win this title. They have the bowling. Rashid has come in form, but they definitely need one additional batter somewhere. I don't know who they're going to leave out. With Sai Sudarshan, Sai Kishore just bowling 1 or 2 overs, they can look at putting, Washington Sundar as your this thing, and then bringing here up, the Kishore as your, impact player when they're
That's
bowling.
okay.
That could be one option, right? And don't bring, if why to have him in the team itself when you're not even giving him the bowls, right?
The amount of overs, yeah.
Yes, so let's, like, they could do that. Put Kishore out and play with Sundar in, because he gives you the additional, and he's a good bowler as well, right? He can take those wickets left and hand. He can bowl in power play. Two right-hander batsmen as well, right? So he's got a defensive bowling as an off spinner. So they definitely have to, if they want to win this title, right? Because it's about the title. It's not about qualifying now. Right? They need to make sure that that one bad day it comes doesn't come in the final game, or
Yeah,
that knock-off game, right? So they need to carry that additional cushion to make sure that something like this can always be rectified.
absolutely. But obviously, it wasn't obviously a straightforward chase towards the end, right? Obviously, the second interruption, and then the games sort of reduced to the 19th over, and all of a sudden, GT were asked to score. Was it like 12 of the last
15
over?
runs or
In
something.
fact,
It was
15,
15.
16 of the last over.
Yeah.
But then, Deepak Chahar, I'm not entirely sure whose idea was it, because by then, obviously, Bumrah's bowled out, Bowles bowled out.
Boomers bowled out. Yeah.
But the only option they had is either Deepak Chahar or Hardik Pandya himself. But obviously, Hardik had an over prior to that where he bowled a couple of no balls, and that sort of costed them a few extra runs. So he probably chose to go with
He
Deepak Chahar.
confidence, yeah, he lost the confidence, and because Deepak Chahar is a pure bowler, right?
Yeah, but this is
And
what I'm
he
just
pointed
wondering.
out that no
Was
ball,
it
right? It's not the
was
no ball. Right?
not a good idea, rather than going with Deepak Chahar, because we know Deepak Chahar is good at the top of the spell, but not necessarily with the older ball.
So, like, what like, he has given some interviews and all that, right? He's told that, like, he's working on slow balls, and if it was not for that no ball, right? And see, the ground was wet, you could feel that maybe that, if it's just like literally, point centimeter, of that no ball, right? If it was not for that no ball, they would have won. You see, the bowling which he gave, and even after the no ball, right? There was a chance of
Run
that
out.
Hardik. That was, and if you see the clips and all that, like, Hardik was very close. Maybe, like, I would suggest maybe 4-5 meters from the 5 meters maximum from the stumps, and it was not like an angle or something. It was, you could see the three stumps. So missing that, right? So it's, after getting that no ball, right, and then he comes back and still, gets them there. It was a very yeah. Sometimes luck also makes a huge difference, right? It was not in Mumbai, and definitely, like, if we see overall the game, how GT played, right, like, in terms of the bowling, restricting that batting lineup who were really in form, and and with Bumrah actually showing his class, and they've overcome this. So GT deserve to win this.
Yeah.
They made a lot of mistakes here and there, and, like, the rain also was not helping them as well, right? It was on and off. It is more difficult for a batsman to play when it rains and you come back, because you're going to have to and this is T20, right? So you go back, you don't have time again, you have to hit from the next ball itself, right? So it's not like, you have to reset yourself, re-understand that thing. So it's very difficult. So GT in that situation, right? That's why you can say it's a very weird game because of the rains coming in, and the DLS score always being showing around. So, but yeah, there was no other option, and because he was Hardik, what he felt like, he lost confidence. You say giving two no balls, and he had lost confidence in some. Sometimes you need your confidence as well, right? And especially critical over, right? you better get into your best bowler. If Hardik would have gone, okay, we would have been talking why not Deepak Chahar, or why not somebody else, because
Mhm.
Hardik went for so many runs,
Yeah,
17, 18 runs, right? And with those two no balls, right? So, it's a dicey situation for captain, right? So he went for the best option which he had in place. Even as Bumrah, definitely Bumrah would have got in, right? So Bolt also had bowled out. So there's no other option for him.
absolutely. Obviously, towards the end, GT sort of finished on the top, and they currently sit on 16 points, top of the table, alongside RCB. So let's quickly, right? Obviously, we sort of reaching the back end of the league stage. 3 games left for probably most of the teams now. Uh, who is your top four still for the playoffs? Who's going to be a 1 and 2, and your 3 and 4? Amar, I'm going to start with you.
So yeah, I mean GTR, RCB are pretty much there, isn't it? They have you can say they have just qualified. Um, Mumbai will be there, number three.
Mhm.
Um, DC Punjab, I would go with Punjab. Um, I see, when these crunch matches are coming,
Mhm.
especially in this edition of IPL, they are kind of coming up trumps. So and in as um Shreyas Iyer's team go,
Mhm.
especially looking at Shreyas Iyer when he's closer to a knockout. I think he will come into his own, and then he will take them through. So I'm going with Gujarat, RCB, Mumbai, and Punjab.
Punk, your pick?
Top four.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who is going to be the
So
top two?
like let's look a little bit of analysis here, right? Like not like blind thing. So Mumbai have got like two more games, yeah. So they've got against Punjab and DC. You see, so either of if Punjab wins, right, then the Mumbai does not go to the top two. You see, so and DC is like on the thing, right? So if that's that part, yeah, so they can maximum go to 18 points from here, Mumbai, right? DC, for example, they got 11 games, right? If DC wins all 3 games, then they go to 17 points, right?
No,
Yeah,
19, right?
19 points. So
19.
DC,
Yeah.
so DC is a chance to qualify, and with DC they have one game with Mumbai, so that is going to be a crucial game. Yeah. So and then also there's one with Punjab tomorrow.
Hmm.
So okay,
And
now
one
let's
with
look
RR.
at yeah. So I feel GT has a good chance to get to 18 points because they got 3 games. Yeah. I'm looking at 18 points as a cutoff because where Mumbai and the other games,
Sure.
so,
Yeah.
so GT looks like they can, out of the 3 games, definitely they're going to win one. Yeah. With CSK, DC, or LSG, definitely I have feeling they'll win one of them. Yeah. So definitely they're in the top one. So GT definitely looks like. Now for RCB, again, LSG, SRH, and KKR, right? I have a feeling they'll definitely win one of them. They're not going
Hmm.
to win it at all. So these two are based on the probability ratio, right? I see GT and RCB at the
Top
top two.
two. Okay.
Yeah, because of they have like 3 games. Punjab could have been in the top two, but because at 11 they're 15 points. Yeah, so there's a challenge with them. Now the other challenge with Punjab is with they're going to play with two really good teams, DC and MI.
Hmm.
Okay, and they are at 15. So and they've got 3 games with RR. So I have a feeling they'll definitely win with RR. Either with DC and MI, if they win, that's 4 points, right? So they again the chances of they'll definitely qualify because one of the games within the 3 games they have, they'll definitely win, right? So
Yeah.
if they won, that's 17 points. Yeah. So I have a feeling it's going to be GT, RCB, Punjab, and MI.
Okay. So you
And
had Punjab
more or
at
less,
three, whereas Amar had MI at three. That's the only difference. Okay.
yeah, top two, three, four, upper niche is not a big difference, but that's what. Now the challenge is with DC, right? If they come bang on tomorrow, right, they have a good chance to displace MI out of the league. I'll tell you why. Because if they win with Punjab tomorrow, lose with GT, yeah, and they have one off with MI, right? So it's basically like a quarterfinals.
Yep.
So DC has a good chance to get into the league with LSG. Okay, LSG, if they displace RCB, GT, and SRH, they're fine, because I told RCB can lose one of the games, right? And GT can lose one of the game. SRH is basically out, but yeah. So LSG is definitely, they need to have 3 games to win. They
But they
can
still
go,
only end up till 16. Though it's not like so.
yeah,
Any other season, 16 might be a good number of points to qualify. But
yeah.
this season,
You
I
know
think
why this
18 might
season there's
be.
a challenge? Because if you see, RR and CSK have not won so many games, right? Generally they used to win around 8 to 10 games, 10, 12, like last year CSK was on 14 points, 7 games that won. So when you have the 9 and number 10, and SRH is along with SRH as well, losing so many games, so then the qualification goes to 16 and 18, and at 16 becomes your net run rate. Last year it was at 14, the net run rate came in. So now the challenge here is Mumbai definitely has to win one game, and still not sure that they will qualify because of the net run rate. They have a good net run rate, so that's the only hope, that at 16 they might qualify, right? uh, LSG is now all on luck. It's all luck. They have to beat all three, and then and hope
Other teams lose.
Mumbai do not win any games,
Yeah.
because if Mumbai wins any other games,
Mhm.
LSG by default net run rate they're going to get out. And with Punjab, because there are 3 games there, right? Punjab against one game, 17 points. So LSG is anyways, there's no chance.
Can be out.
See, this is not like by luck and all this. I'm just calculating in terms of the points here. So
Yeah.
the top 4 technically are there. DC is the only team,
DC has
right?
outside chance compared to everybody else. The rest are pretty
Everybody
much
else.
knocked out. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, GT won't get knocked out from here, yeah?
Yeah.
MI is the only team which can get knocked out if DC wins the 3 games in row.
Yeah.
They have to win the 3 games.
Mhm.
So, and Punjab won't get knocked out because Punjab is at 15. Yeah. So that is the, permission and combinations. So I
Combinations. Yeah.
hope I've
Mhm.
answered people based on mathematical calculations, which teams can be in the top 2 and which teams can then qualify.
Cool. No, makes sense. But yeah,
Which are your,
I think
your top four?
my top 4, I think RCB will finish number 1. GT will be 3. I actually think Punjab's going to make it to the top 2. Punjab might end up being at numbers 2. And then I've got a feeling MI is going to be the 4th team. I don't really think DC bouncing back. I think they sort of lost the chance somehow. So they might win one game, but I don't think they can win all 3. If anything, 2, but all 3 is definitely a no-no. So yeah, MI definitely has a chance, unless they really
But if DC
blow
wins
up.
2, right, 17 points, they qualify.
No,
DC is at 13.
17, yeah.
17, but
They'll qualify
um,
at
uh,
17.
but MI has how many? MI has 14 now,
2.
right?
Yeah. 18.
Yeah. So they can go to 18 if they win 2 out of the next 3 games.
But if you see, Punjab, GT, and MI are the guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge. The
They're sort of
combination
playing
is
each
such
other, so
close.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're all
So
playing each other, right? So it's
yeah,
all
that's why I'm
quarterfinals
like,
for them from here.
yeah, Punjab, I think really strong. I know they had a blip in between, but I think they bounced back, like Amar said, as they get into the back end of the season again. They started off really well, had a lean phase, and they're bouncing back really strong. Unfortunately for DC, that hasn't happened. I think since KP took that 2-week break to Maldives, the whole team just fell apart somehow. It's unfortunate. I was looking forward, and I really feel for Akshar Patel. He's done so well for the team, and yeah, somehow
Yeah.
they just fell
I
apart.
told you, right? DC problem is like not getting that one power hitter in between, right? They had that option. Brevis was the guy. They could have easily taken him, right? So, and this is like beginning of the season when Harrybrook and all that, right? We're
Yeah, yeah.
talking about
Mhm.
that, right? I
They could
was
have got a
talking
Harry
about
Brook replacement. Yeah. Mhm.
easily, and Brevis was the guy who, and like we'll talk about that about like next season
Absolutely. Yeah.
and all that. So yeah,
Yep.
but at least we've answered people like
Mhm.
in where we are in terms of who looks like more chances to qualify in the first 2 as well.
Cool. On that note, I think, gents, we can end today's podcast. For our viewers, subscribers, like we always say, any feedback is always welcome. And then going forward, we just probably sort of focus on most of the upcoming crunch games. As we know, some of the teams sort of already lost qualifications. We want to give them a break and help them focus on 2026 already. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to wrap up and I'll let Amar do the honors.
Yeah, hit the bell icon.
And do subscribe, and let's continue covering the rest of the games. And also we start focusing on the upcoming India tour of England as well sooner than later. On that note, thank you, gents. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Feel free to drop a mark.